What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sit Down Saturday. This is an important one because it is our first Legends versus. We haven't done one because usually I don't have the figures to do so. I'm always borrowing them. That being said, I went ahead and got this done 2 weeks in advance while I was holding on to the Legends Star Screams from New Age and Magic Square from Robert D so that I could get this done for you guys 3 weeks later. But don't worry about me, I'm fine. I wanted to do this for a number of reasons. For one, we haven't done a Legends versus. For two, I tend to prefer Magic Square stuff over New Age stuff generally. However, I knew that this one was probably gonna go my way. That is to say, not the Magic Square way, unfortunately, if you've been watching the reviews for Secret Week. But it is upon us. Because I'm doing this so far in advance, I can't do house cleaning. That means we're gonna have a more intense house cleaning next week, so sit tight. Or maybe we won't. Maybe it'll be smooth sailing. Wouldn't that be nice? That being said, I try to stay as objective as possible. I try to stay as unbiased as possible. Some of this stuff is subjective. Some of this stuff does come down to my subjective opinion. It's going to enter in at some point. I'm just doing my best. Let's get ready to rumble. Magic Square versus New Age. And we have to start with accessories. So they're pretty evenly matched in a lot of ways, but it really comes down to the quality of accessory. Like, they both have hands, but the New Age has the Megatron weapon for all of them. That is a great display feature as well as a display base. The Magic Square has the kind of, the coronation set, but it's not really effective and it doesn't really look good. It's a cool accessory to have, but it doesn't look good. And then it includes the stuff for the Prime gimmick and all that. Like, don't get me wrong, it comes with some good accessories. They're just not as instantly gratifiable as the set that New Age comes with. The fact that it can turn into a space bridge, the display, like, it's just really classy, smart move. Gimmicks wise, they both have landing gear, which is kind of a gift, so it's a wash there.
Start with build and materials. The materials are infinitely better on the New Age. The build is infinitely better on the New Age. Even with the weaker hips on this Starscream, looking at the Skywarp and the Thundercracker that are more intact in that regard, they work better in that regard. But even with the loose hips of the Starscream, I'll take the build of this over the build of the Magic Square any day of the week. Materials wise, the New Age materials are just better all day long. Just all day long. You know, the Magic Square materials I have tolerated in the past because I think they've done some pretty interesting things and been able to cut some corners with the materials in order to achieve those things at a low price. But this one, it just doesn't cut the mustard in that regard. So the New Age is gonna just smack them around in these two arenas. And let's move on to paint and sculpt. So looking at the two faces, I think the eyes are better on the New Age. I think the expression is better on the New Age. I like the silver paint better on the Magic Square, but I just like the silver over the gray for face decos in general, most of the time anyway. But I will admit that the gray is more cartoon accurate, so I get that. I think that the shoulder pieces are kind of done evenly, and I think the helmets are kind of done evenly. From the side, I think it's pretty much a wash. I like the rounded shoulder pieces more than the more angular ones of the Magic Square, but that's really being nitpicky. Moving on to the torso and pelvis, the New Age, I much prefer the paint. They painted the majority of the chest, where the Magic Square painted the minority of the chest in order to make the red-white combination work. New Age also added the black, but so did Magic Square, so they're tied there. I like the paint on the New Age over the translucent use on the Magic Square, and sculpt-wise, they're about even. From the side, I think I like the Magic Square better. It doesn't have the gap that the New Age has when it's actually stuck together. But I like the kind of pelvis shape more on the New Age more from the side. So kind of a tie. Looking at the arms, I prefer the proportions of the Magic Square arm. I like the shoulder better, and I like that they painted the blue square within the forearm so that it looks like one solid piece. I do prefer the sculpt of the Null Ray over, but I kind of like the articulation of the Magic Square of the Null Ray. However, in the same breath, I like the engineering of the Null Ray on the New Age because you can maneuver the arm without any issue of it getting in the way. From the side, I'd say it's pretty much a wash. It's pretty even. Looking at the legs, I think the Magic Square is more toon accurate, but I like the differentiation in the blue line work as well as the more pronounced vents in the knees, and then the feet are about the same. I also like the portions on the New Age better. I like the longer lower leg and the shorter upper leg than I do with the Magic Square. From the side, I think the Magic Square has it. I think the sculpted line work is more purposeful and makes more sense. The feet look fuller from the side. Even the inside of the legs is cleaner. However, I do like the color differentiation in the New Age set in regards to that, but that's just my personal opinion. And there they are from the back, and I think the New Age has the better appearance from the back. However, I have to do something to take a point away from the New Age for the sake of tying in the fact that it has a balance issue. So I would have given New Age the lead here. I'm going to tie it to detract that point in order to make it as even as possible. Which brings us to our totals. Magic Square takes the lead in the arms and the lower legs. They tie at the head. They also tie in the back because I'm being lenient and I need to take a point off of the New Age for their balance issues. And then New Age takes the torso, hips, thighs due to proportions, and the overall front of the figure. So New Age is in the lead in that regard. Articulation-wise, the Magic Square is on a ball peg. You get all the way up, a little bit down, good side to side, and a little bit of confused dog look. The New Age, you don't get as far up or down. You do get side to side, you do get confused dog look, and you can get a little extra confused dog look by utilizing the neck hinge that's inside of the piece for engineering. The Magic Square shoulders can get out to the side to 90 degrees and spin all the way around until they hit the wings. And the same goes for the New Age. Bicep swivel with the null ray extended, and then you can recollapse. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow with a wrist swivel. Single jointed elbow with less range and a wrist swivel. Waist swivel with a full ab crunch 90 degrees over and back. Waist swivel, more limited, with an ab crunch just about 90 degrees over, but nothing back. T-jointed ball joints for hips that get you out this far, forward and back for the full Monty. T-jointed ball joints for hips that get you the full Van Damme and the full Monty. Thigh swivel built around the ball peg, thigh swivel at a cut joint. Double jointed knee for a little over 90 degrees, single jointed knee for 90 degrees. Ankle tilt down, toe tilt down, ankle tilt up, toe tilt up, and a limited rocker. No ankle tilt down. You do get a toe tilt down. You also get a toe tilt up. No ankle tilt up, but you do get a great rocker. Lastly, seeker specific, you can articulate the wings out to the side, and the same goes for the New Age. And in the articulation department, the Magic Square slaughters the New Age. It wins at the head, elbow with a greater range. That's one of the ones that actually really counts. Torso, because it has the back bend, and knees getting past 90 degrees, whereas New Age takes it at the hips and thighs, and they tie at the ankles, hands, wrist, biceps, and shoulders. Scale-wise, they're both too big for the DX9, which is the scale chart that New Age has been following, and they're both slightly too big for that. However, they both either work really well or kind of work with the Magic Square scaling. However, the Magic Square one kind of nails it. So the Magic Square has to win in the scale department because it's the only one that does what it's supposed to do properly. The engineering, once again, it's just a no-brainer. The New Age does have issues when it comes to the lower leg transformation, getting some of those flip-flaps to flip-flap properly in regards to tolerances and clearances and so on and so forth. That does become a challenge. However, the Magic Square is pretty much a challenge from start to finish. And it's not a hard transformation. It's just the fact that the clearances, the tolerances for that soft plastic don't hold whatsoever and create a very challenging process to get through in order for it to kind of stay stuck in. And that goes for alt mode as well as robot mode. Moving on to alt mode itself, they both are sculpted well enough. The thing is, I have to give it to the New Age because it looks more purposeful. The Magic Square ends up looking like a mess because of the reasons just aforementioned. And as a result, it ends up creating a very sloppy presentation in regard to the alt mode in the same regard that it creates a relatively sloppy presentation in regard to the robot mode. So the same thing working against it there is working against it here. And as a result, once again, I think the New Age looks sleeker. It looks more put together, it looks more purposeful, and it looks more finished. Okay, do you care which one of these is better?
No.
Which one looks better?
I think I like the one on the left.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, and which one feels better?
I guess that one feels sturdier.
Which one?
This one.
Okay. Okay, what's your name?
Selena.
Do you care which one of these is better?
No.
Which one looks better?
That one.
Okay, and pick them up and see which one feels better.
I feel like still that one.
Okay. What's your name?
Jaina.
Do you care which one of these is better?
No.
Which one looks better?
This one.
Okay, and which one feels better?
This one doesn't feel very heavy. This one feels better.
Okay, thank you.
They don't stand very well.
Mm-hmm. Which brings us to our final scores. Magic Square takes the lead in articulation. They nail the scale. They're the only ones to do so. And they win in price, coming in at around $120. The New Age ones come in at about $50 a pop for each, making their score around $150, or price rather. They tie in gimmicks. They tie in hardware because they really don't use any. Mostly they use pinned hinges and swivels or ball pegs. They also, I think, honestly tie in accuracy. Neither of them are 100% accurate. Both of them are making an attempt to be so in regards to the G1 model, cartoon-wise. But New Age takes the lead in accessories, build, materials, sculpt, paint, transformation, alt mode, and presence for a total score of 8-3 New Age. Slaughterhouse.com.
And honestly, I think that's pretty fair. I think that's a pretty fair score. And I think that it's about 8-3. Like, I would, on a scale from even just 1 to 10, I'd probably give the New Age Seekers an 8. I'd probably give them... I don't like them. I think that they're not well done. That's my personal opinion. It's also some objective deductions as well. So, yeah, seems about right. It seems fair to me. It seems like an honest reflection of the product, in my opinion. The best thing that the Magic Square has going for it, in my opinion, is the scale. They nailed it. The rest of it is kind of a wash. Hogwash. You know what I mean? Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.